I am keen to catch up with our guest today. I feel it might be better for you to do his intro because you just do it so much better than I do when it comes to Pat.
I
So roll
mean, we
the
did it
baby.
together at Palooza,
Yeah,
but we
we
do
did.
have Joey Jeremiah Esquire, the man, the myth, the legend, Pat Mastriani on the show today.
See?
Join
hmm
us, just talk about all things Gen X, and because we grew up together, even though we didn't know each other until like 2016 or so. I don't even know
That's
how long is it. We met you officially
Yeah.
at
There
at
was,
Niagara Falls
Niagara
Comic
Falls
Con, I
Comic
think. Yeah.
Con,
yeah,
or maybe that Smithy TV
we did have that
dinner.
Smithy TV dinner.
Okay,
Really
that's
quick.
right.
Yeah, at
And then our
yeah,
relationship
Barbara
just
and Zoom.
blossomed from there. And then
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
hosted my Degrassi reunion event in 2019, and I
Yeah.
actually physically probably haven't seen you guys since.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was it.
That
Yeah.
was there's this whole thing that happened where with lockdown, COVID.
Yep.
We got stuck
Ugh.
in our homes for years,
I bought
and
a house, got married, have a kid.
nicely done.
Tim and I both changed jobs.
Yeah.
I did
Yeah.
absolutely nothing.
Oh, see, I envy that. I would be like, yes, that's what I want to do.
Yeah, right.
I would still stay locked in my house, given the choice.
Sometimes I feel like that's the way to go for sure,
Yeah.
the way things are going these days. But
Yeah.
Oh,
let's make it
yeah.
through the other side. Yeah.
Right? I
Yeah.
love this enthusiasm. So the beautiful thing about this chat is that we're not going to talk about, all the questions that you tend to get at all the cons and from I'm sure people you even bump into in the street and all that fun stuff. We just want to talk about how you grew up, what you grew up with, what influenced you, how you were influenced. I mean, think back to when you were a kid. What kind of were you like? You had to be home to watch the Brady Bunch, or were you like, I have to go see the new Friday the 13th? What was, or were you like, ABBA has a new album out, I have to get that. What was your jam? Were you
ABBA
TV,
was the.
movie? Come on, ABBA's got great melodies. I don't care
Oh,
what
I
you.
know, I know.
What I remember of my youth, back in the late 70s, early 80s, definitely was a really shy kid growing up. Mainly because my parents constantly moved. They would buy a house, fix it up, because my dad was in construction, and he would flip it and make some money, and then work his way up the food chain in terms of upgrading his home. So I was constantly being introduced to new schools every couple of years. So I never had this foundation of close friends growing up with in elementary school. I was always the new kid showing up, and I was a lot smaller than most of the kids in my class, and I was always a target for bullying and getting picked on, and it was frustrating because I never got to build my confidence as a young kid. So I was very kind of secluded, and television became my friend. Comic books was a place I could escape. And I also had a job as a kid at my local convenience store, stocking the shelves and mopping the floor so that I
Sweet.
could make a couple of quarters to play pinball machines and arcade games that were inside the convenience store. That's how it was back in the day. And those three things were my life up until age 14 or 15. And again, I can go in more depth about it because television was an escape. I would go home, I would watch Happy Days, the A Team, oh my gosh, Laverne and Shirley. I mean, all the classic sitcoms, and it was things that my parents, who weren't very fluent in English at the time, they could relate to because it was physical comedy as opposed to
Right.
intellectual. You saw Jack on Three's Company fall down, and that was funny, right? It was slapstick. So I really got into this world of television at an early age, and it was something that I wish I could escape to. Where I was able to escape when I was a young kid was comic books, obviously. I would be able to lose myself, and I didn't have a very long attention span. I didn't read books growing up as a kid. I wasn't a brainy kid. I was kind of, a C student in school. But comic books, it was that 20-minute, diversion. It was quick, it was easy, and I was able to lose myself in this world that was created by Stan Lee because I was a Marvel guy, and Spider-Man was my hero because he was this quirky teenager that was funny, and
He was
he had
you,
his
but got bit by a
powers.
spider.
Love Spider-Man, right? So that was where I think my imagination started to flourish and grow. And again, it kind of segued into me wanting to be an actor because I didn't want to be who I was in my real life. I wanted to be something larger than what I was. And when the opportunity to audition for Degrassi came about, my parents were super supportive. I didn't think anything of it. It was just like, maybe I'll try, maybe I'll get in, maybe I won't. But it wasn't this life-changing decision that I thought I was making at the time. It was just, I did it on a lark. I was looking for an outlet, and it looked like a cool thing at the time because they dropped off flyers at our school. And I guess that's where the bug kind of bit me, where I wanted to pretend, I wanted to play, I wanted to invent a character and develop something, because I was living already in this fantasy world of television and movies and comic books, and video games was just a way for me to, I guess, fixate on something. Pinball machines, I loved it. I was always a big kid, and so even today, I collect things from the 80s, like the old Donkey Kong.
Yeah. I had Galaga when I was little.
If you're watching this on video, you'll get to see some of the props I brought. But, we're part of like I've said this at Palooza, Degrassi Palooza in 2019, I said we're the last of an analog generation. We're a tactile generation. We want to touch and feel things and hold things, where today's young people, or even today's generation, everything is on subscription. Your music, you go to Spotify, subscribe. You don't actually hold a CD or a record or a cassette tape. You want to watch a show or movies, you had to buy the VHS or the DVD or the Blu-ray. And now people are sort of going back to that, which is really amazing. And I think that's one of the things that COVID it brought back for us, at least my generation. It made us nostalgic for a simple time, and so online shopping was all we had in 2020, and so there was this boom of resurgence for things that made us feel good again, like young again, and the things that we had when we were in a simpler time in our lives. One example, again, I brought my an old Game Boy.
Dude.
Whoa.
These things are like gold right now.
They really are.
People want that toy that they had as a kid, or because my dad didn't make a lot of money growing up, I didn't have all those toys. I want them now as a grown adult. I want to have that, toy that I wanted as a kid, or that comic book that I wanted as a kid. So, when people say, Pat, what do you do these days? What business are you in if you're no longer an actor? I said, well, I'm in the business of nostalgia. I appear at conventions with my fellow cast members, my OG cast, my TNG cast, and we travel all over North America, and we make people feel nostalgic when they see us, because a lot of people, got on Amazon and binge watched Degrassi because that made them feel good. It's comfort food, right?
Yeah.
I know I'm totally hogging your podcast.
No, this is awesome.
No, it's perfect.
I totally wanted to jump in, though.
I will eventually stop. But being in this environment of conventions, and you guys know it because you've been there and you've interviewed folks at conventions, and you've seen the world of conventions and the type of people that attend these amazing gatherings. We're all looking for that good old warm feeling that we had as a kid, and especially folks my age in their late 40s, early 50s, and whatever, we're all kind of missing a simpler time and a time that we remember very fondly. And so that's the kind of business that I want to be in moving forward in my old age. I just turned 54. I didn't even realize I was 54. My wife had to remind me. And at the end of the day, it goes by quick, my friends. It flies by. And, we worry about, house payments and paying the bills and getting our kids clothes and, saving for their college education and all that stuff. Well, you know what? Have a little fun for yourself. Spoil yourself once in a while. Do something silly and buy that old Nintendo game console. Like, I meet so many people that are just in love with the old technology, and that's definitely making a comeback. And so, when you invited me to come on your show and talk about that, I was like, I'm living it right now. So
I knew you'd be perfect.
Oh, absolutely. And let's educate people. Let's explain, the hobbies that are out there and why people collect what they collect, and also maybe warn people about being cautious about overspending and buying things that are trendy. It's so easy to get caught up in the moment, and then you realize, 5-10 years later, well, nobody cares about that anymore. Why do I have all this Lord of the Rings stuff? Nobody cares about it anymore, right? Or, if we were talking 30 years ago, it would have been the X-Files.
Yeah.
Right? X-Files was the biggest sci-fi show when I was a kid growing up,
Yeah, man.
and I'm sure people bought all the swag and all the things that you could have gotten back then. Me too. And now it's just sitting in a box somewhere, going, well, "Who wants this stuff?" So it's about if you're going to be
It's on my shelf.
right.
Yeah.
If you're going to be an investor in nostalgia, either you buy something because you love it for yourself and you don't care about the monetary,
Yeah.
or you buy it like I do as an investment and you're looking at it as a potential
Yeah.
opportunity to get things out there.
Yeah.
And that's kind of, I fell into this opportunity where I bought 10,000 comic books over the summer, and
Wow.
I just couldn't pass up that opportunity. I saw what it was, I saw that there was some good stuff in there, and I just wanted to grab it, get it out there. And now I've opened up an opportunity that I didn't have 6 months ago. I'm actually a vendor at actual
Yeah.
comic people go, and I'm meeting really, really cool people. There's a whole new social group that I've opened myself into now, and I just love that environment. I love that world. So I'm going to let you ask the next question, but
Well,
I'm very thirsty right now, so bear with me.
well, I
Oh,
love. Oh,
amazing.
nostalgia.
dude.
Mm.
No, I love that you were talking about
Coke out of a
recording on
glass
your
bottle.
VHS or whatever, and this, that, and the other. And I just flashed on being a kid and not even having a VHS recorder. Like
Yeah.
I would run downstairs with my tape recorder and hold it next to the speaker on the television so I could record like a theme song or something like that.
Yeah.
Or even whole episodes, and I would listen to them like that because we didn't have a VHS. If you didn't catch it and you missed the rerun,
It was
gone.
gone forever.
Yeah, you were out of the loop because kids talked about it at the water cooler. You was going, watch that episode, and if you missed it, you missed it, and there was no rewind. And VCR back then was like $1,000.
Yeah. Yeah.
My dad was a teacher, but he spent many years as like the AV resource teacher in the library. So like librarian slash resource person, whatever. But he used to, like, for the summer holidays, they would break and he would come home with a computer and a VC, and like I'm talking like a pet computer, not like not even a Commodore or anything, but it was and yet you play the games with like the prompts, like go left, stuff like that. But he always bring home a VCR, so we would just go to the store and like rent as many movies as we could and just sit and watch them for those 2 months that we had.
You were playing
VCR
Zork.
access.
That's what it was. You were playing Zork.
Zork.
Yep.
I didn't have my first computer till I was 29. My parents and my girlfriend, who became my wife, Carmela, they were kind enough for my birthday / Christmas present, bought me my first computer.
Wow.
I really, even at 29, I was like, why do I need a computer?
Yeah.
Who needs a computer? Right? I fought it. I fought it for the longest time. I fought social media for the longest time. I even fought getting an iPhone forever. I had the old flip.
Yep, same.
Motorola, because I just didn't want to embrace the technology. But if you don't, then you are so out of the loop. And, you kind of have to, it's a necessary evil, right?
Yeah.
And, here we are having a video chat conversation that we probably couldn't have done 10, 15 years ago this easily.
Yeah.
And that's just, there's such a beauty to what technology can offer. But then there's this completely new world that I've hit my technological limit. I mean, I just discovered ChatGPT or whatever it was, and I get 5 things prompts I get to do a day, and it terrifies me what it's capable of, and I'm only worried about what it's going to be able to do in a year or two.
Yeah.
The fact that the technology exists to manipulate and recreate any of us, our voices, our likeness.
Yeah.
It's just scary as heck. So
Right.
We'll see what that
And right back to the X-Files. Trust no one.
Trust nobody. Yes.
Well, we'll see how that reboot goes.
Yeah.
It's coming. Ryan Coogler, man. I'm all for it. Make it happen, Ryan.
So what else are we going to talk about? Nostalgia or collectibles?
Well, we can do
Well,
all
let's
kinds of
start,
that, but we've
yeah.
got let's talk about movies for a second.
Okay.
Was there a movie that you watched over and over and over and over, and your parents were just like, dude, something else?
Okay, so there's a few, and I won't go on about it, but I can think of 3 easy ones. So Ferris Bueller Day Off was my number one for the longest time. Love the movie, love the story, love the characters. Probably memorized it. Believe it or not, when you said, my parents stopped watching, my mom loves the movie Friday because I watched that
Wow.
so many times that my mom started reciting some of the lines in Friday.
Oh, that's
Because,
hilarious.
Ice Cube and was it Chris Rock? No, it was Chris
No,
Tucker.
yeah.
And so
Oh, Chris Tucker. Yeah,
he
yeah.
loves that movie as much as I do. Scarface is another one because
Wow.
everybody wants to be a gangster when they're in their teens, early 20s. Everybody thinks they're Tony Montana. And then, lastly, the Back to the Future trilogy.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Mm-hmm.
for me, Michael J. Fox is my hero. I think I've mentioned that a few times over the years. He was my inspiration and my motivation to create Joey not in his likeness, but I always said to myself, how would Michael J. Fox play this character if he was in my body,
Yeah.
my
Oh,
skin
yeah.
on set, and what would some of the things he would do? Because I would watch Family Ties just to study his technique, to see how he always was moving. Always had a prop in his hand. He never had a body lock like I see a lot of my fellow actors
Yeah.
doing on the series. And so to be aware of your surroundings, but also to be natural and to make it feel seamless, and that there was no thought behind his acting. That was what I admired about him. And again, 2020, I got to meet him at Fan Expo in Toronto, and I got to thank him and say hello. And so that was just a dream come true for me. I got to be the fan at that point. And so those movies specifically, for different reasons, Friday for the comedy and Ferris Bueller for just the cool. Everybody wanted to be Ferris Bueller, obviously, to be that popular in school and get pull the fast one on the principal and all that stuff. So I kind of emulated that a little bit between Joey and Mr. Radich on their animosity that they had on Degrassi. And then what else did I say? Scarface, because he's a badass. And then Back to the Future, just because that's a classic. I owned a DeLorean, for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
I remember that. I remember that very well.
Now talk about wanting to buy your childhood
Right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
that was my extreme moment, my midlife crisis, I guess you'd say, where I walked into my bedroom and said to my wife, "Hey honey, I just bought a DeLorean on eBay. I hope that's okay." And she lost her mind because she thought I was joking all week long when I was saying,
Oh, no.
it's only at this amount of money, I'm going to bid, da da da. She thought I was kidding. And when I actually bought it, she was just like, "You're an idiot." But again, she tolerates me.
So
She
you were
puts up with
serious.
me. Yeah, I just was at a point in my life where I could afford it, and it
Yeah.
was something I've always wanted. And again, just like fans that go to these conventions, they're no longer comic conventions. They're called Comic-Cons, but they're not. They're nostalgic pop culture celebrations,
Yeah.
and get to do whatever you want to do, dress up the way you want to dress up, and no judgment, and it's just a pure love fest. But for some people, it's that Funko Pop or that toy or that comic book. But for
Yeah.
me, it was I want that DeLorean because that
Sure.
represented everything I wanted to be as a teenager, and to be able to pretend to actually be Michael J. Fox driving an actual DeLorean was just the best experience.
Did it come with the flux capacitor, or did you?
I bought the flux capacitor. I
Perfect.
have it still. It's in the basement. But again, it's something that's sitting in a box underneath my staircase. And so collectibles are something that people, again, either you do it because you love it personally and you don't care what the monetary value is. It just represents something special to you. And you can refer to it once every 10 years and it'll still make you feel the same way, or you can display it proudly somewhere in your home. And again, you always have to try to stay within your budget, right? Because it's insane how much
Financially and space-wise.
Yeah.
If I had a mansion, great. I can put all my stuff out. But I have a storage unit.
I would have a Jaws room, is what I would have. There would be a Jaws room. I'm allowed, like Amanda is honestly very tolerant of my fixation on like Jaws and stuff like that. I'm allowed to bring like a couple things into the house every now and again. I can't bring in lots. So, and anytime I get something for me, I kind of assuage her by getting her something as well. So yesterday I got like they remember the little golden books when we were kids?
Yep.
Those are still huge now.
Oh.
And there's a Jaws
I
one.
have some.
So I have the Jaws. There's a Golden Girls one.
Yeah, I have it.
Yeah. So I bought the Jaws one yesterday, and that's kind of added to the Jaws collection that's slowly building across my dresser. It's going to be but I totally get that. But
It's
I have a
funny too
follow-up.
because I have a baby, so you would think that I'd be like assembling these things for her, but
No,
I like she can't touch these.
no, you
I
don't
will
even
get
look at
her her own
it.
thing.
I had a gentleman over the summer that I met, and he bought, what did he get? He purchased a Nintendo 64 game
Oh wow,
console system with all the games that
yeah,
I had. And I asked him what he was, what he was going to do with it. It wasn't cheap, it wasn't inexpensive, but it was
yeah,
something he said, I had one as a kid. I have a 4-year-old son, and when he gets older, I want him to play the same games that I grew up with
yeah.
as a kid, like I did, because you don't want to just throw an iPad in their face at 3 years old.
No.
I know a lot of people do, no judgment. But for this gentleman that I met, he goes, I just want my kid to experience the simplicity of these old games, the sounds, the
Hmm.
8-bit or 16-bit, consoles that were popular back in the day. And I go, I can respect that. I can appreciate that. He
Yeah.
goes, but for now, I'm going to play it myself. I'm going to hide in my little man cave.
I can be better than my kid for as long as I can.
Right? But yeah, I think a lot of us use the excuse of, oh, it's for my kid one day. I want my kid to see this stuff. But really, it's for yourself. You're going to
Hey,
enjoy it for
man.
It's
yourself.
right.
Yeah, but it is something nice that you can hand down to your
Yeah.
kids
Oh
one
yeah.
day and let them experience it. Because I love these videos that I see on social media where kids are handed an old Atari console and they don't know where the cartridges go and they don't know
Yeah.
what the joystick is
Yeah.
for. It's very cute to watch them try to figure it out. But yeah, sometimes simple is better.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Those games were like now it's largely about beating the game, at least like the single player ones.
Mhm.
Um or like quest ones, but like those games, like you couldn't beat Pong. It just kept getting faster and the paddle kept getting
Yeah.
smaller until you were dead or out.
Asteroids. I remember the day we played Asteroids and we rolled the score over and it started again. I'm like, oh.
Yeah. Like that was the goal, right? Last Starfighter, you get to the top and then that's it.
You're
Then you
done.
get recruited into space.
The amount of hours just spent staring at a box TV, like a tube TV. And again, people are buying those old tube
Yeah.
TVs to plug in their consoles into their old vintage consoles because they want that feeling, they want that vibe. And I can totally relate to it. And I appreciate it. I love that we're at that stage now in our lives where we have a little bit of a disposable income and that we're willing to relive our childhood. And again, I wouldn't have a career if it wasn't for all this general love and appreciation for the
Yeah.
80s and
Sure.
90s for our nostalgic generation. And again, comic conventions today, that's my bread and butter. Like that's where my cast and I go and meet and greet with fans from all over North America. And now, finally, the next generation of Degrassi cast are doing it because they're celebrating their 25th anniversary
Yeah.
this year, which is
Ridiculous.
mind-blowing.
Right.
Absolutely ridiculous. They're in their late 30s now.
No, that's
And
not
when
right. That can't be right.
yeah, they were kids. They were babies when I met them. And they're just great to be around. And so we've done a bunch of appearances together. We got big plans for 2026. And
Wicked.
again, their generation is now feeling that nostalgia, which is
Yeah.
really, really nice to see coming to that age. But it comes by quick.
Man does it. Which
Mhm.
leads into, because I love talking about this one. Did you have a favorite theme song as a kid? Like
Theme song?
from a TV show? Or an
Oh,
earworm
oh,
that just stuck in your head. And it can't be
yeah.
one of yours. It can't be
No
one of yours.
question.
I'm
No,
sorry.
no, no, no question. Welcome back, Cotter. Come on.
Oh,
Oh,
dude,
good one.
choice.
No. And I can't even today. I get tingles when I hear it on the radio, or when
Oh,
when I hear it come on. I just welcome back. Oh, it was just such a cool sounding song.
that's
It
on my
just
playlist. I love that.
reminded
Yeah.
us of the old days. It was
Yeah.
classic song, and that's one of my favorites. And then obviously Cheers is another television series classic
Yeah.
opening theme song. Do you guys have a favorite? I can't think of any other ones that really blow me
I mean, I could
away.
cheap
I have a
out and just say
ton.
Star Trek, but I mean, I
Oh
love
yeah,
like Knight Rider, Airwolf. Airwolf, I love
yeah.
because it goes and I'm like, it's just, and Magnum is probably my favorite.
Yeah.
Magnum.
Magnum PI is like my jam.
Oh,
Mine are a
18.
lot of
Too.
sitcoms like Facts of Life, Golden Girls,
Yeah,
Silver Spoons was a good one,
yeah,
Family Ties,
yeah.
um, Three's
I find
Company. I was
Yeah.
watching, there's like on a channel that airs Friends, like all day on Sundays. And there was like one episode where Rachel thought that Monica and Chandler were going to have her still stay as their roommate in the apartment when Chandler moved in. And she's like, "Oh, come and knock on our door." And she just starts singing. And I'm like, it's such a throwaway moment, but so good.
And again, our generation will probably get that joke. It's an inside
Yeah,
joke.
exactly, right? Like it's
But I do love the fact that young people are discovering the early series, the early shows, mine included. But
Oh,
they're
yeah.
they're discovering, they're interested in that as well, which is fantastic. I mean, we're so overstimulated with television and films today. Like especially, I mean, again, I love the Marvel films. I'm a big fan, but sometimes it's sensory overload because my
Yeah.
eyes
yeah.
just can't
Yeah.
follow everything that's happening on the
Yeah.
screen. It's so fast, and I know I sound like an old man, but it's true. Like the Transformer movies. I get a headache. And
Yeah.
especially the video games today. I can't play the video games today. They're too fast. There's too many buttons. They also have buttons on the top and on the bottom, and combinations. And although I try really really hard to keep up with the games, but it's like I said, you reach your technological limit at a certain age, and then anything that happens or becomes normal after that, it's just so hard for you to grasp. It's like my dad trying to put the clock on the VCR. He just could never figure out how
Yeah.
to do the
Forget it.
clock on the VCR. That was my job. I was the guy who knew how to do all that stuff. But yeah, it's just it is what it is. I think we stay in the generation that we feel the
Oh,
most
yeah.
comfortable in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's our safe space. That's our cozy,
Yeah.
warm, fuzzy feeling that we get. And again, do not begrudge me for, loving Degrassi and promoting
Never.
Degrassi and celebrating Degrassi. It is something that I'm very proud of. It is something that my cast is very proud of. And as long as I show up to these places and people are there to meet and greet with us and get an autograph or a
Mhm.
selfie, I will keep doing them. But the second that nobody shows up, I'll be like, okay, that's it. I'm going to go work at Tim Hortons.
When
That's
we're when we're showing up with our walkers and our canes and
Don't kid. I tell my wife all the time, you're going to be rolling me out
Yeah.
and saying, okay, honey, go put your
yeah,
ass on
like
this
I'll keep
picture.
going.
You know, take me, I'll be 80 and doing it if there's still interest and people are still willing to hear me out and talk on stage with my fellow cast. And,
Yeah.
we just
When we're
love it.
80, we're still gonna look back. We're
Oh,
gonna
man.
want to
Yeah.
more than
I
ever,
think
probably.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Well,
Like I said, you get stuck in the generation where we felt the most comfortable, and I think for maybe most of us, especially your viewers and listeners, I think probably the 80s and 90s is where it's at for us, and anything beyond that, everything since 9/11 has just been a blur for me, to be honest.
Yeah.
It
I can
really,
support
really
that.
is.
Yeah.
That's when time started to speed up very, very quickly, and months and years go by, and then you don't even remember a specific
Right.
year. Where growing up in the 80s and 90s, you can probably remember
Oh, yeah.
specific years and events and things that happened culturally, pop culturally, whatever, that happened on a specific year.
Yeah.
For me, anything past 2001, I couldn't tell you.
It's just a blur.
That's it too, right? Like the turning of the millennium, that whole 2000 to 2010 doesn't really exist in my brain. Like
Yeah.
as a decade, I'm like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
It's
don't
not there.
know.
It's not a thing.
How
No,
long
but
ago was
again,
that?
you'll probably meet the cast and fans of Degrassi: The Next Generation who grew up in
Oh,
that
yeah.
time frame, in that timeline, and
Yeah.
say, "Oh no, I can tell you everything that
Yeah.
happened." So and so was in the charts, in the music
Yeah.
charts.
It's like, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I love
The
it.
whole last decade of my brain.
I will say,
Yeah.
like, just on a tangent, because we have talked about Degrassi just a little bit, and I just wanted to share this because it brings me joy. When both Sue and I have been there, and we're at the point where we know you, we know Stacy, we know Stefan, and but it's so wonderful to see you and the rest interact with those people that are coming up to you for that moment of nostalgia,
Mm.
and I just get a little side joy from it, just seeing their joy and the way you guys interact with them. It makes me so happy for like you and them at the same time. I just love that.
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, that feeling that you're experiencing by witnessing what those interactions are like, multiply it by 100, and that's how we feel, because it's directed towards us. We do understand that there's a little bit of a they're thinking they're talking to Joey or Caitlin,
Yeah.
I think,
Right.
and they're excited about that. But again, we understand that there are certain people that see us as our characters, and there are certain people that see us as Pat and as our real life people, and that's okay. Like either way, I'm always prepared to give the person that I'm meeting what they want from that experience, because I only have a couple of minutes, if I'm lucky,
Right.
to leave an impression that they're going to walk away with. Because I would hate for anybody to walk away going, "What a jerk that guy." You
We
know,
had think
I
that guy
never
was.
meet your heroes because they never live up to your expectations. But
Yeah.
when I've always brought new people into the fold for appearances, I always kind of teach them a little bit to be gracious and grateful and kind, because these people have spent a great deal of their money to get into the convention, not just to
Right.
get in, to get downtown, to park, to get in, stand in line and wait their turn. And then, whatever costs it is to get an autograph or a selfie or whatever, they've actually taken that time just to see you and meet you and shake your hand and have that micro moment that they're going to walk away with and remember for forever. Just like when I met Michael J. Fox, I got to walk away with a memory that I'll never forget. And so I try to explain that to my new cast. I call them my new cast. They get it right away. I mean, they've been in the business long enough, and they've done interviews and they've done meet and greets and whatnot. But it's different when it's at a convention and you're sitting at a table for 8 hours a day for 3 days and
Yeah.
doing that
Yeah.
over and over and over again. And you want to give that next person that same excitement and kindness that you just gave the last person. And
Yeah.
so it is work. I mean, it is.
Oh, yeah.
You do get exhausted at the end of the day, being emotionally exhausted, but we do walk away with our hearts full. We are always giddy after a 3-day weekend at a show, and we're just so happy that everything went well and that people showed up and they listened to our Q&A and they laughed at our jokes. So I will always, like I said, I will always be grateful, and I will always celebrate the show and what it meant to me, but also to the Canadian television pop culture.
Yeah.
Historically, like we're in that class of Mr. Dress Up and Littlest Hobo and all
Yeah.
these great shows that we
Beach
Well,
Combers,
Little
baby.
Sobo was another good theme.
that was another good theme song
Mhm.
for sure. So again, people can laugh at me sometimes and say, "God, get over it, dude. You're an old man." And that happened 30 plus years ago, 40 almost. And for me, it is about just celebrating something that was important for my generation in my life, because it changed the course of my life. I would have been a completely different person if I didn't audition for the show. And the irony of me being grateful to television and comic books and video games for inspiring me to want to go be an actor is just crazy. You can never imagine. And that's why when I do these speaking engagements, sometimes Stacy and I go to indigenous communities up north. We just did one a couple of months ago, and I brought 300 comic books with me because I wanted these young people to have that experience of physically holding a book, because you don't do that anymore. It's all electronic, and
Yeah.
you can download comic books now. And so I wanted these kids to have that tactile experience of holding a book, and maybe appreciating and enjoying the artwork inside the book, or the short storytelling, or the fantasy world that it allows your imagination to go wild. And I wanted these kids to maybe be inspired by these books. Maybe when I was a kid, I remember I used to trace the characters and try to do my own artwork, and
I do that. Yeah.
I did that
you know what I
too.
mean? So again, you never know what kind of influence something as simple as giving a kid a comic book can have on that person. So it's really neat. I wanted them to have that experience as well, because they just don't have comic book stores up north. So
Yeah.
and that's
Even just the smell of them, right? Like when it's brand new
Mhm.
and you can smell the ink, or when it's like old and it just smells like.
Yeah.
But if you're in the experience of reading it and being in that world, then that scent and the feeling of the pages in your hand, that takes you back too.
Oh, yeah.
absolutely
Like the gum you shouldn't chew in the trading card packs.
Yeah.
Don't chew that.
Oh,
Well, 5 seconds of flavor, it's like it just takes you right back.
and then that pasty dry,
Yep.
Yeah,
Cardboard, yeah.
that powder, that chalk.
powder. Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah,
Pat,
sports
can we-
cards too. I mean, sports cards have never gone away, but now it's Pokemon and all that
Yeah.
other kind of wild collectible stuff. And again, be careful, because that stuff can be very short-lived, trendy. Again, I know nothing about Pokemon and
Yeah.
all the other collectible cards that are out there, but hey, man, I always
Get
say
it because you want it.
I just say different strokes for different folks. You know,
Yeah, man.
everybody has their thing. Some people collect dolls, some people collect comics, some people collect whatever, little tchotchkes and whatnot. Like, if it makes you happy, don't let anybody judge you. Just do it, man. My wife wants to start collecting salt and pepper shakers.
My
Oh, bless.
grandmother did that.
Yeah,
Yeah, she had like a cabinet full of them from everywhere. People would gift them to her. Yeah.
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 My mom used to collect spoons. I would whenever
Yeah, I have a spoon
I
collection.
publicity trips, I would bring her back a spoon from wherever I went, and she really enjoyed that. So,
Cool.
you know what? It is nice.
Can we slide and talk about music for a second?
Okay, I'm not big on music.
Okay. Then
Even
I
though I
would.
had a
That's
band,
it. That's a segment. Cut.
And we're done. Thanks, Pat.
even though I was in a band on TV and I played keyboard.
Yeah, you did. I did. My question is, if you had to compose a soundtrack for your life using 80s and 90s tunes, what would it be?
Oh, that takes time, man. You just can't.
Really? Oh, damn. Okay.
You know, it's hard. Like, you know, like you're asking for.
Is there anything
Are you
that takes
asking
you
for a
back
mixtape or
to?
just a single song?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Like whatever you feel like
No,
a single song that
again,
defines you.
I remember being a kid and sitting in front of the little stereo that my parents had in our home that had a tape deck player on it, and I would listen to 88.1, which was a university station, and once in a while they were the first radio stations to play hip hop or rap in the mid early 80s, and that was the only place to hear it, and I was just enamored with it. And I remember this song coming out called "It Takes Two."
Yeah, Rob Bass.
And I was like, I gotta get this song. So I would
Yeah.
sit there for that whole hour on Sundays between 12 and 1 or something crazy with my finger ready on the record and the play. I wanted to get that song, and I got it, and I just listened to it over and over and over again. And I actually would bring it to set. I remember I brought it to set because I wanted the other guys to hear it, and we would just play it, and we would do these photo shoots for Degrassi on set, and I would like, guys, we need some inspiration for this photo shoot because we were doing the zit remedy and we had to have energy so I would play it in the background. So whenever you see photos of the zit remedy, early ones, and we're doing things like this, and we're handing it up to the camera, we're actually listening to Rob Bass, "It Takes Two."
That's
Or
brilliant.
So is that your walkout song if you're a pro ball player or something?
yeah, it was kind of like our theme music walking out. And or Run DMC, like that was another one that we were just so into, and Beastie Boys, obviously. I think Beastie Boys would probably be my soundtrack because I just was so. Again, it was new. It was a new sound. They were outside the norm. You know, three white guys just killing it, and I mean, they were just amazing to listen to. Again, to be able to hear a band for the first time. And you know that these guys were trend setting, that they were doing something that nobody had ever done before. I don't hear that anymore in today's music, and I know I sound old again talking like this, but you know, for today's generation, I guess you would say it's Taylor Swift or whatever. Like, I respect the artists for their accomplishments and their reach, and the music is loved, but I just don't remember in the last 25 years hearing something that was like, oh my God, I've never heard anything like this before. That might be my ignorance because I don't follow modern music. Forgive me, but I just remember when I heard music in the 80s, it was like there was nothing like it ever, and it just sort of influenced so many other bands to try to even be like that. And again, I'm sure my parents or grandparents' generation would say, well, that was the Beatles, that was the Rolling Stones, that was Led Zeppelin.
It was Elvis.
You know what I mean?
That was.
You know, so we are kind of locked into our decade that was, you know, for us, music, television, film, and all that kind of stuff.
80s music is still the best music. That's all
It is. Anytime I'm driving, that's what I'm listening to.
Yep.
Yep.
I don't know, Sue, how do you feel about a lightning round?
Oh, lightning round. Yeah.
All right. I got my Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola, you're fresh, you're caffeinated?
With real sugar cane. All right. I'll do my best, kids.
Favorite Saturday morning cartoon?
Looney Tunes.
Ooh, first celebrity crush.
Yeah. Sorry?
First celebrity crush.
First celebrity crush. Oh God, help me out. WKRP, the secretary.
Lonnie Anderson.
Lonnie Anderson.
Fair. Yeah.
Good one.
Oh, she was so cute. Uh, oh, and remember, guys, Battle of the Network Stars? I wish they would bring that back because you got to see
Seriously.
all
Yeah,
your
that could
favorite
be fun.
celebrities during the swimming rounds, and you'd see like Wonder Woman in a bikini, and all. As a little kid, my mind was blown. Like Charlie's Angels were all in the bikinis, and I'm sure the guys were very handsome, but whatever. Like that
You
was it
you
for me.
you had me at Linda Carter.
I know, I know. Okay.
Arcade or console?
Oh, oh, arcade. I have to
Nice.
say arcade because I just spent so many hours as a kid in the arcade trying to perfect my gaming, quarter after quarter after quarter, and I just remember, like, for example, Tron, the video game Tron.
Yeah, I remember that
Yeah.
game.
Oh, and also Dragon's Lair. Remember Dragon's Lair?
Yes,
Oh
which was
man.
50
Yeah.
cents.
It
Yeah.
was
That
yeah.
was like 50 cents, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was more expensive, but it worked off of a laser disc. The game
Yeah.
actually didn't have a motherboard. It worked off of a laser disc, and you had to go through the motions and make those mistakes and then put in another quarter or 50 cents to get back to that spot and remember, okay, I should have gone left instead of right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Dragon's Lair, I probably spent $10,000 on.
Yeah, there was what? There was
Kidding,
Dragon's
kidding.
Lair, Space Ace. There was three of them, wasn't there?
Yep.
Yeah.
Dragon's Lair, Space Ace. There's another one. I can't remember
Yeah.
it. So, yeah, again, that was also a social thing. You go meet your friends
Yeah.
at the arcade.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And a quarter could last you, 20 minutes on a pinball machine if you were good.
Yeah.
You could just go out and have pop and hot dogs and French fries, and that was sort of like the meeting place for your friends. And if I had any friends, that's where I would have met them.
Mall rats, baby. It's all about being a mall rat.
Yeah.
VHS or beta?
Oh, nobody's beta. Who's beta?
Nobody's beta.
Nobody's beta.
I love this question. I love that Sue came up with this question. Who would win in a fight? Optimus Prime or the Death Star?
Or the Death Star?
Yeah.
The whole Death Star?
It's only got that one shot. Well, I mean, I guess it has
That's
the
true.
little
The
laser
one
cannons
laser.
too, but
Yeah, and literally like a little shot can destroy the Death Star. So I'm sure, yeah, Optimus Prime. I'm gonna go with him.
Nice.
Yeah.
A movie you absolutely loved but probably shouldn't have.
You know what? I blame Stefan Brogren, who played Snake, for this. He gave me nightmares. He introduced me to horror movies. I'm not a big horror film buff, but we would go into his basement and he'd put on all these movies that we really probably shouldn't have been watching at our age. But one of them was like Evil Dead, Videodrome.
Oh man, Videodrome.
A lot of nudity and stuff that we shouldn't be watching back then. But yeah, horror films really bothered me and disturbed me. And I'd be like, Stefan, why'd you make me watch that? I'm freaking out.
and what are we watching next
my
week?
friend.
What are we watching next week? Yeah, he was good. He was a good influence for music and movies and stuff like that. He was always ahead of the curve. He knew I guess he had an older brother or somebody. He always had his finger on the pulse of things that were cool, kitschy, or cult classics or things like that. So again, I never had an older brother, so Stefan was kind of like that cool older brother, even though I'm older than him. But he definitely influenced a lot of the things that I enjoy today.
Thing you loved as a kid that might surprise people.
Oh boy, I don't know. That's a good question, but
That is a good question, Sue.
think about
it. Yeah. I could do a whole
I don't
segment
have
on that.
Solid answer to that.
Yeah.
That people wouldn't know about me. I'm not that interesting, to be honest.
Maybe that's it.
Surprise, everyone.
Turns out Pat's not interesting.
That's just boring.
I'm
Yeah.
really not. I'm very two-dimensional. Things that I like that people wouldn't expect. Oh man, I don't know, because I'm an open book, and I basically have talked about a lot of things growing up that people may not have known about, like my obsession with DeLoreans and things like that. I did have an obsession with classic cars. I mean, I did own the Mustang that Joey drove on Degrassi. That was an actual car. They incorporated that into my character because they saw how much I was in love with this car, and they thought, oh, that'd be kind of a cool thing that a lot of young guys could relate to, and women obviously, young people could relate to, that having their first car. But I've probably owned about 12 or 13 cars in my lifetime. And at one point I owned 4 cars. And I'm like, what the hell am I doing with 4 cars at the same time? And then I sold them all, and now we're a 1-car family. But there was just I went through a phase of classic cars. I was just enamored and obsessed with them, and I don't know. It's just a thing. But I was never a gearhead. I never knew how to fix them. I couldn't tell you how to change an oil. Change a tire.
I just like what looks
Like
good.
them. Yeah.
I just like to chrome. I like to polish the chrome and wipe it with a diaper and enjoy it and go to car shows and stand around and meet other nerds who like cars. And so before Comic Cons, it was car shows that I used to hang out in and meet people and socialize. I had a DeLorean, an MGA, '69 Cougar, '73 Mach 1 Mustang. I just freaking love cars. So that's what happened.
That's a good answer, Pat.
I just had a realization, an epiphany, if you will. I think at age 16, when I got my driver's license, I put away all this stuff. I stopped playing with the comics. I stopped watching TV and hanging out at home watching movies and playing in video games, because I was a teenager now and I had my driver's license and I had a car and I wanted to meet girls. And that became my obsession for whatever length of time that was, 25 years. Until, you know what I mean? But then, you get married, you settle down, you hopefully can, start a family and whatnot. And then you rediscover the things that you let go of as a child.
Yeah.
Right? And again, to kind of go full circle with our conversation today, you put away the obsessions and the toys and all that stuff, because there are more important things to worry about in life. Career, family, kids, and all that. But then once all that kind of calms down and you've got that in control, you do want to go back home. You do want to revisit the things that you had in your youth. And I think that's what nostalgia is all about.
I love it. Which leads into a really nice question. Your favorite collectible? Because we've talked about flux capacitors, we've talked about comics. Is there a single issue? Is there a single item that you have that is your prized collectible?
That I still have?
That you still have?
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, again, it's a comic book, and but it was my holy grail as a kid, and it was one thing that I wanted in my adulthood, that I could just say, I got it. And I can't afford a Superman #1. I can't afford a Batman #1 or Detective Comics 3029. What's Batman's first?
I think that's what it is. Yeah.
But I could afford an Amazing Fantasy #15, which is Spider-Man's first appearance, and that just happened, because again, I'm connected to the community, and I know a lot of comic book dealers, and I have a lot of friends. And about 10 years ago or something like that, I made a deal where I finally got my holy grail, which was the first appearance of Spider-Man. And so that's, tucked away in a safety deposit box, because it is valuable. It's graded just like these comic books behind me are graded. It's not raw. But again, it was something that I wanted to, you feel like you've achieved something when you get your holy grail. And then you're kind of like, well, now what? You have that object, you have that item, that collectible, but then what's the next thing, right? You got to find your next thing. And it's okay to achieve your goals. It's okay to get that grail. But then I'm always looking for what's the next objective. And I don't know yet what that is. I fell back into comics recently. So right now I'm just enjoying myself, having fun, but I have no set goal for what the task is. Why am I doing this? What's the motivation? I think it's always nice to have something to do. It's something nice to have a hobby. And like I said earlier, I'm meeting some really cool vendors and really cool people in the industry by being a vendor myself at these Comic Cons. And we're just like-minded nerds, and we all get along really, really well. And we all want to talk about the books that we have and the books that we're looking for. And so I've met a lot of nice people over the last 6 months. And so I always said to my wife, look, I don't know how long I'll be doing comic conventions appearances, but if I can evolve into something different, into dealing with comics or nostalgia, souvenirs, collectibles, things of that nature, that's kind of like the right segue for me in my
Cool.
adulthood, I guess, because I'm certainly not going to get a real job.
The
I'm not skilled in any real trade.
cool thing is, like, you've gone to comic conventions as a fan,
Yeah.
Yeah,
you've been there as a guest, and now
yeah,
you're going as a vendor as well. Like, you kind of got the trifecta, unless you want to start doing security or something. But I
yeah.
feel like that'd be a
Or food
definite
services.
different direction.
You're absolutely right, Sue, because I got to run my own convention as well,
Yep.
which was
Yeah.
Degrassi Palooza. That was an experience, and so I have actually learned every aspect. And now, as I've been a talent guest, but I've also been a manager for talent as well.
Yeah.
So I love trying different things and having new experiences. The one thing I forgot to talk to you guys about is how I got back into the collectibles. I
Yeah, yeah,
totally
yeah.
forgot this really cool story that I wanted to share. Unless we're out of time,
Oh, do
we'll
it.
have to do a part two. But if we're still okay for time, how
Yes,
we
of
doing?
course.
Well, it's past my bedtime, but it's okay. Um, so what a lot of people don't
That's
know
4 o'clock
about,
dinner.
yeah, what a lot of people don't know about me, going backwards a couple of questions, is that while I was doing Degrassi: The Next Generation, I was also working for my father's paving construction company. He had a small crew, and he asked if I could be available when I wasn't acting to help him out, to make sure that, again, it could be anything. It could be keeping an eye on the other workers to make sure nobody got hurt. I got my truck driver's license so that I could drive some of the equipment. And basically, I was an all-purpose kind of guy for my dad, but I could leave on a dime if I had to go work or audition or do Degrassi. But for over 12 years, I worked alongside with my dad doing paving, which I'm still very, very proud of to this day, because I actually got to work alongside my father, which most people don't get that chance to do,
Yeah.
and watch him in his prime, in his glory, doing the thing that, he kicked ass in and put a roof over my head when I was a kid and put food on the table. And so to work alongside him was my proudest decade, working with my dad, beyond anything I ever did on Degrassi and acting and all that stuff. But there was this one job that we did many, many years ago. I think it was the early 2010, 2011 maybe, where we were doing a driveway for a little old lady. And when you're paving a driveway, you have to put the equipment inside the garage. Once you've laid the asphalt, you jump on your roller and you start paving to smooth out that asphalt and compact it. And so I was parking my equipment in her garage, and I was filling up the tanks with water, because you need water to roll on the asphalt. And I noticed all these sports cards and boxes and binders, and there must have been like tens of thousands of cards all over this garage. And I was like, Miss, do you know that these cards are probably not in the best environment? Like the humidity, being outdoors, like, do you not have a place inside to store all these sports cards? And she's like, I've been trying to get rid of these sports cards ever since my husband passed away like 10 years ago. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, okay. And again, I didn't collect sports cards.
I can help you.
Right? I didn't collect sports cards, and I didn't know a thing about sports really, and who the top players were. I could tell you who Wayne Gretzky is and all that, but I couldn't tell you anybody else. And so I said to the lady, well, how much do you want for them? I'm thinking she's going to say, $20,000 or $10,000. And
Yeah.
she said, just take them out of here. I'd be so happy if you just got rid of them. So, cut to my basement. I have 120,000 sports cards in my
God.
basement. And my wife is like, what the hell did you bring home? I'm like, it's okay, honey. I'm going to put them in the closet. I was just kind of taking a quick look and seeing what's here. And I remember specifically, it was the year that Tiger Woods got the shit kicked out of him by his wife for cheating on him. It was Valentine's Day or week or something like that. And that's when I decided to dive into all these sports cards. And I believe in energy. I believe in transference of energy from objects to objects, from people to people. And I truly believe that the gentleman that owned this collection before I acquired it had left some kind of positivity, some energy, some love of his, collection on these cards. And as I was touching them, the more I played with them, the more I organized everything, I was starting to feel that energy, that excitement, that pleasure that he had for his collection. And again, I truly believe I kind of, by osmosis, took that joy and became my obsession. And I now got to play with these cards and become immersed in the whole world of sports cards. And again, that led to me trading them in and selling them and all that stuff, to the point where I sold those 120,000 cards and I ended up with six
Wow.
of my own personal holy grails just from that entire collection. So I have like a Michael Jordan rookie, I have a Gretzky rookie, I have a
Whoa.
Bobby Orr rookie card, I have a Derek Jeter rookie card, I have a Sidney Crosby rookie card, maybe something else that I'm not remembering. But again, I wanted those as a kid. I wanted them as a
Yeah.
youngster. I couldn't
Yeah.
afford them, and I was able to do. But it took a lot of work. It took about
Oh,
a
sure.
year
Yeah.
to learn about the hobby and all that kind of stuff. But it's never too late to get into something new. I guess that's the point of my long-winded story, and you guys know I can talk. So
What?
the point of my story is that it's never too old to learn a new hobby, to get into something, to find something interesting and say, I'd like to learn more about that.
Yeah.
Because again, I knew nothing about sports cards, but that then made me go to my parents' house and find my old comic book collection. And that led me back to comics, which led me to learning about comic book conventions, which led me to learn about appearances at comic book conventions.
Oh,
So
man.
I have that one little old lady to thank
Yeah.
for basically introducing me to a world of collectibles and a world of hobby collecting, and going from sports cards to comics to conventions to appearances to meeting you guys to doing Palooza. Like, it all basically was like a dominoes, right? It took a few years, but again, my life would probably be very different if I didn't meet that lady and get that card collection. It is
Yeah.
stupid how
That's
little
awesome.
moments can change the course of your life.
Which honestly leads into the perfect ending, because we have one last question.
Okay.
We have the Gen X time phone. So you get 5 minutes to talk to your teenage self.
Hold on.
He's actually got a time phone.
He's got a time phone.
Yeah, there he is. So perfect.
Yes, amazing. It's
Okay.
the only thing better is if it's rotary.
No, I don't have a rotary.
So you have 5 minutes to talk to your teenage self. What are you going to tell him?
What the hell were you thinking? Okay. Nvidia stock, buy it. Stay away from, Nvidia, buy it. Bitcoin, buy it. What else? Don't be afraid to take chances, but also don't regret the mistakes that you've made, because you will make them, because that's something that I've had to accept over the years. You look back upon your youth or your early 20s and choices you've made, and you say, man, did I screw up? Should I have taken that opportunity or that or this or the other? And there were times when I was like, I think I would have had a different life, but would it have been a better life?
Right.
Right?
Yep.
Because the grass is always greener, right? So, for example, perfect example, the producer of Degrassi wanted me to stick around after my 5th season, when I ended my contract and moved on to continue to work with my dad and work on other shows and whatnot. But she did offer me the opportunity to stay on and learn to possibly direct. She didn't offer me anything. She just said, if you want to stick around, I can't offer you a contract, but you'll have the opportunity to shadow some of the directors that are here, and maybe we might be able to offer you an episode. And I just remember saying, like, I'm not a director. I never wanted to be a director. I never thought of myself as a director. I just wanted to be an actor, and that was my true passion. And I thanked profusely for the opportunity. But I said, there are other people that are more qualified, like Stefan Brogren, like Anais Granovsky, who went to school for directing. I said, those are the ones they should be offering this opportunity, because they'll run with it. And so, of course, years later, as I'm watching Stefan win all of these director awards, and I don't know how many. I think he said he directed about 80 episodes of Degrassi, and he's still directing today. He does a lot of Hallmark movies and whatnot, and he's just killing it. And again, I can't look at him and his success and say that would have been mine, because we're two totally different people.
Yeah.
It's like, as an actor, you look at your friends who are in Hollywood, and you're like, why am I not in Hollywood? Why am I not successful like they are? We all have our own paths, And again, I took a different path, but I love what I'm doing. I'm happy with what I've chosen to do with my life. But again, you always wonder what if. So I would just say to my younger self, don't regret the choices that you think were wrong, because some of the choices that you've made have been so blessed and so positive in your life, and you just can't mull on that. So I mean, you can visit it, but just don't live there and don't
Yeah.
regret. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Because I've always had supportive people, friends, family, my loving wife. You guys know my wife and how
She's
much she had to
amazing.
put up with for Palooza and everything, and you know, living with a man child. But at the same
I was gonna
time,
say you didn't land Lonnie Anderson, but you pulled Carm. That's a
I
pretty
know,
good
Right?
right?
Yeah.
trade-off.
Come on.
But at the end of the day, no regrets, you know? I love what I do, and I'm happy with the choices I've made, and I wouldn't change a thing, because it's who I am. I like who I am, and I like the people that I've gotten to meet and know and become friends with, and that's all you can ask for in this short, crazy life. And, you know, who knows if we'll still be here in a year from now, you know, like the way the world is. You just live for today and enjoy today for what it has to offer, and don't, I guess I wish I had some, you know, tidbits of real wisdom. I really don't. I'm a very simple person, but at the end of the day, you know, don't regret your choices. Live to the future. Don't dwell on the past. Even though I do live in celebrating the past, I don't live there. I do. I'm always looking for the next adventure, the next thing I can get involved with, and you know, experience the experiences. That's really what life is about: is to have as many cool experiences as possible.
Yeah.
So, and to try and leave a legacy. Right? You're leaving a legacy, Sue, with your daughter.
Hmm.
Tim, you're leaving a legacy with that glorious mullet you've got there, that beautiful hair of
Hey.
yours. I would kill to have that hair, that mane, that tiger mane of yours, or lion mane. But at the end of the day, we all, you know, can't compare ourselves to others. We're just, you know, we're our own people, and we're doing the best we can. And there are always going to be little distractions, little things that give us, you
Yeah.
know,
Mhm.
a moment.
Sometimes a little lady's garage can ignite a whole new
Yeah.
passion.
Yeah,
That's a
yeah.
great
But
story.
it's okay if something small gives you joy, like opening up a bottle of Coca-Cola, and you know, that's a moment that you're allowed to live in for that moment. But then, you know, go on to the next thing, and do something positive. And that's really all you can do. I'm all about positivity, and again, sharing my experiences with my fellow castmates at all these shows, and what we do is just a blessing, and to be given that gift to be able to do that, to bring joy to people. Not a lot of people get to do that. So at the end of the day, yeah, I'm happy, and I'm grateful, and I love this conversation that we've had, but it really is
This is
past
good.
my bedtime, and I really got to go to bed now.
I love
I
it
love it.
too, and I have
Oh,
no idea how I'm going to edit it
this is
into
so good,
concise little
though.
segments.
I have loved this conversation. It just reminds me that how much I've actually missed talking with not only with Sue, because I mean we're obviously trying to get back into the routine of this, but even just catching up with you, Pat, has just been it's been a real joy, because I mean that Degrassi Palooza was such a momentous moment in my life that we got to do that, because having grown up, well, we're of an age, but having watched you and considered you a friend through the television, and then getting to do that and spend that time with you and the rest of the cast, and getting to know you and Stacey and Stefan, and it's just a
Yeah,
joy to reconnect like this,
thank you.
and I
Yeah.
love that.
It really was a one of a kind experience. Like, I can't think of another event or opportunity that we had that weekend, that has happened at other kind of conventions.
Hmm.
Yeah.
We were a small group, maybe 350 people in total with
But it
volunteers.
worked.
But it was
Yeah,
fantastic,
yeah.
and you guys did your job. Like, you guys kept the conversations going. You asked the good questions. I would love to be able to do a screening of the documentary that I made of that weekend,
Hmm.
of
Yeah.
all the panels, and maybe we can one day do a broadcast where the three of us are chit chatting and reminiscing while we're
Yeah.
playing the movie, because I haven't had the opportunity to put it out there for people to watch in a very long time.
We got
So
to do the audio commentary.
yeah,
And this is the part where
This is the part where Sue says this,
this is
and
where
I
Pat
laugh.
cries.
Yeah.
This is where Pat cries. That was a very emotional weekend. You know, you were trying to make me cry, Tim, but the reality was is that I was exhausted,
Yeah.
completely emotionally,
You work
physically,
so hard.
mentally exhausted because I was warned by a friend of mine who does conventions. He says, Pat, that week of your event will be the loneliest week you'll ever experience because you feel so overwhelmed. There's so many different gears moving at the same time, and you're just hoping that when you let go, is it all going to work? Because you've spent almost a year of your life putting
Hmm.
this event together, and will it all go the way you planned it to? Because you have to relinquish power to your
Yeah.
team and
Yeah.
let them take over.
Yeah.
You know, you guys had your job, my volunteers had theirs, and other people had their jobs. And I was just so grateful.
Yeah, you had to set it all up and then be
Yeah.
like a
And then
headlining
be the guy.
guest.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
Right?
know,
Yeah.
be the host and be the guest and all that kind of stuff. So, and also the venue, like the amount of money that it costs to rent that venue was way more than I thought I was going to commit to putting on this event. So it was a big roll of the dice putting on that
Hmm.
event. But thankfully, the fans came out. The
Yeah.
fans
They
bought
ever.
those tickets to
Yeah.
come to the event. And, I didn't lose my shirt. I was blessed that it was basically everything paid for itself. But at the end of the day, I wanted those panels to be insightful and people to
Yeah.
reminisce and
Hmm.
have those deep moments of remembering and explaining to the audience what it was like being on the show back then. But at the same time, respecting our co-creator, director Kid
Oh,
Hood, and
yeah.
our head writer Yan Moore, who was there, and a couple of the other adults were there, and so everybody had their moment in the limelight, and
Hmm.
that was special. That was
Yeah.
what I wanted to do, was to honor them, and I think we did it. And again, if we can figure out a way to get that documentary to be played, we can do a
Yeah.
commentary on it. I mean, happy to do it. I don't know if you've both seen it lately, but it's been a while. But that
Hmm.
was my
Not
COVID.
lately. I saw it
Yeah.
when I
Is that
first got
when
the
we were?
link.
That
Yeah.
was my COVID project. When COVID first started and we were all locked down, I said, well, it's time to make a documentary. So I went through
Right.
all the footage and made it happen and put it all together. And I would have loved to have done follow-up interviews with everybody, but at the time we were all on lockdown, so I
Yeah.
couldn't do
Yeah.
those, one-on-one personal conversations that I wanted to do. So it was all basically the panels, 99% of the content. But
Yeah.
again, my cast had such great stories and articulated
Hmm.
themselves so brilliantly and really did a good job.
Yeah.
And again, if I had told you guys that we only had two cameras, you would have thought, wow, the documentary felt like you had three, four, five cameras, but it was really just two
Yeah.
cameras, and it was just a really good cinematographer that did all that, the filming of it all. So yeah, no, thank you again. If I haven't said it enough, thank you again for doing such a great job, and it was just
Well,
a
thank you for
wonderful.
letting us
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
Exactly.
part
That
of
was like
it.
a dream come true, dude. It
I
was.
just remember Sue going, I don't
Yeah.
know if I'm going to do a good job. I don't know if I want to do this.
I
And I said,
remember. I
You were
remember
like,
that.
practice.
Yeah.
no,
I remember the moment before we brought you all out, and Stu and I just kind of looked at each other like, "How did we get here?"
no,
Are we sure that we're doing
Yeah.
this?
Yeah.
yeah. If I hadn't known you guys long enough and seen what you guys were capable of, I knew that it was in your wheelhouse to do it. I just wasn't sure if you guys were prepared to do it for the long
Oh,
3-day
yeah.
weekend.
Yeah.
And, the amount of effort and energy that it took to do it. No, you guys killed it and did a great job, and everybody was so pleased with you guys and how you respected
Oh,
them.
yeah.
With your questions and
Yeah.
follow ups and all that stuff. So yeah,
I remember I had a moment, I think I was coming out of the washroom and there was a couple of fans that I recognized that were just sitting on a bench nearby. I was walking down the hall past them and I gave them like the nod or whatever. And then
No.
in my brain, I kind of went like, no, go back, like go be the host that you would want to
Mhm.
meet
Yeah.
at an event if you were there as a fan. So then I went back and I was like, where are you guys from? They'd come up from the States and
Yeah.
we had like a whole conversation and stuff. And then we did the brunch thing
Mhm.
or
Yeah.
the breakfast brunch,
Yeah,
whatever.
that was
We did
brunch.
one
Which
of
was a great
those.
idea. That was awesome.
And from like that moment, I was like, at first I was like, okay, like do these things, make sure you're here on time, make sure you do this and think to say this.
Yeah.
And then after that, I was like, be the host that you would want to meet. If
Yeah.
you were a
Yeah.
fan, like what
Yeah.
kind of experience do you want to have? And like just be part of it
Yeah.
instead of being like
Make sure
worried
that they
about
get,
them
make sure
going
they
like,
get
you're
the
not
best
from this
experience.
world.
Oh,
Yeah.
man, you killed it. You guys did a great job, and I know the fans appreciated it. Yeah, you were very engaging and allowing them to be engaged as well. Like they got their
Yeah.
opportunities to ask
I
questions.
had some go-tos that I was like, she's gonna ask a question for sure, and it's gonna be baller. And she never let me down. Like there was a few that were, I was like, get your ass up to the mic.
No, it was fun. I'm grateful for it. I haven't watched the documentary myself in a number of years, so I would like to revisit it and see. I mean, people still to this day, 6, 7 years later, still talk about it and bring it up.
Yeah.
And when I meet people at conventions who were there, there's a sense of pride that hey, I was at Palooza. You know, they talk about it as
Yeah.
a sense of, you know, you were inside that weekend and got to be a part of a unique experience that will never ever happen again. We'll never be able to get, you know, that many cast members in a setting like that. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, we lost Kit Hood
Yeah.
7 months after that event. But I was just so grateful that we were able to give him that moment again, because he had
Yeah.
basically put Degrassi away for 20 years, and for him to come back out into the limelight and talk about it openly, it was he was grateful for it, and I was grateful that we could provide him that experience, which he was just loving it. He had a great time. So yeah, you know, it was fun, and I'm glad that we got to do it together, and now we're connected.
Yeah.
We're always connected now with Palooza.
Better
But
believe it.
now,
But now it's time for your bedtime.
Yeah, my friends, thank you so much. I appreciate you both.
time for my loo break.
Yeah, go do your loo break, and yeah, we'll do this again one day. And if fans have any questions for me, or you know what's coming up next for the Degrassi tour, follow me on social media. I'm sure you guys, when you post, you'll tag me and tag our Facebook page or Instagram page, and I have degrassitour.com. And that's where you can find out about upcoming appearances and things, cool things that we'll be doing in the future. But yeah, we're just I'm grateful for all of you folks that have been kind enough to listen to this entirely too long conversation. But it is fun that we get to do this, and thank you again for making Degrassi part of your life, and allowing us to be on this journey with you for all these decades. And hopefully we'll see you at a show in the near future.
I love it.
Thank you, guys.
Pat, so
Thank
good
you,
to
Pat.
see you, man.
See you soon.
Yes,
Talk to you soon.
please.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Pat.